Hello students, today we will learn about the formation and the manner of articulation of the 24 consonants of the English language. So let us begin with a definition of the consonant. So consonants, as we know, are speech sounds produced by completely or partially stopping the air being breathed out through the mouth. Consonants basically differ from the vowel in the mode of shaping or interfering with the breath stream that is expelled. The interference is made by the active articulators at one or more points in the entire vocal tract, which is aimed at creating either a complete stoppage of the air or narrowing its passages so that an audible friction is created, thereby changing the quality of the sound. For the vowels, the vocal tract is open, but for the consonants, the air is obstructed in some form or the other. There are 24 consonants in the English language, and the aim of today's lecture is to learn about the formation and the articulation of these consonants. Consonants can be classified according to three criteria. The first one is the voicing, that is, the presence or the absence of vibration of the vocal cord. The second criteria is the place of articulation, that is, the point in the vocal tract at which the obstruction is made. Now, the third criteria is the manner of articulation, that is, the manner in which the stream of air is interfered with. Thus, in order to have a clear idea about the description of a consonant, we have to be familiar with three parameters. Now we will go into detail regarding these three parameters. The first criterion in describing a consonant is the voicing. Speech sounds are produced with the air pushed out by the lungs up through the trachea to the larynx. Inside the larynx is our vocal cord, which takes two basic positions. The first one is when the vocal cords are drawn together, the air from the lungs repeatedly pushes them apart as it passes through, creating a vibrating effect. Sounds produced this way are termed as voiced. The second position is when the vocal cords are spread apart, the air from the lungs passes between them unimpeded. Sounds produced this way are described as voiceless. Now, the second criterion is the place of articulation of a consonant. Once the air has passed through the larynx, it comes up and out through the mouth or the nose. Most consonants are sounds produced by using the tongue and other parts of the mouth to constrict in some way the shape of the oral cavity through which the air is passing. The terms used to describe many sounds are those which denote the place of articulation of the sound, that is, the location inside the mouth at which the constriction takes place. Based on this difference in the place of articulation, different consonant groups are recognized. They are, the first one is the bilabials. These are the sounds formed by using both the upper and the lower lips. The initial sounds in words like pat, bat, and mat are all bilabials. Examples include the voiceless p consonant and the voiced b and the m consonant. The next is the labiodentals. These are the sounds formed with the upper teeth and the lower lips. The initial sound of words like fat and vet and the final sound in the word safe are labiodentals. Examples are the consonants, which is voiceless, and the v consonant, which is voiced. The next groups are the dentals. These sounds are formed with the tongue tip behind the upper front teeth, the initial sound of word like thin, and the final sound of bath are both voiceless dentals. The symbol used for this sound is the theta. It is a symbol we would use for the first sound in three and the last sound in teeth. The voiced dental is represented by the symbol it. This sound is found in the pronunciation of the initial sound of common words like the, there, then, and thus. It is also the middle consonant sound in feather and the final sound in bathe. The next group is the alveolar. These are sounds formed with the front part of the tongue on the alveolar ridge, which is the rough bony ridge immediately behind and above the front teeth. The initial sound in words like top, dip, sit, zoo, and nut are all alveolars. Examples of alveolars are the voiceless t and s, and the voiced consonants like d, z, and n. The next group are the palatals, also known as the palatoalveolar. If we feel back behind the alveolar ridge, we should find a hard part on the roof of our mouth. This is called the hard palate or just the palate. Sounds which are produced with the tongue and the hard palate are called palatals, or sometimes they are also known as the palatoalveolars. Examples include the voiceless ch, as in church, and sh, as in shoe, and the voice zh in words like pleasure and treasure, and the j in words like jam, joke, judge, etc. One other voice palatal is the semivowel y sound in the beginning of words like yes and yet. The next group of consonants is the velars. Even further back in the roof of the mouth, beyond the hard palate, we will find a soft area which is called the soft palate or the velum. Sounds produced with the back of the tongue against the velum are called the velars. For example, the voiceless k sound which occurs in words like kid, cook, kick, and car, etc. And the voice g sound which occurs in words like goes, gun, and give, etc. The velum can be lowered to allow air to flow through the nasal cavity and thereby produce another voice velar, the ng sound, which is represented by the angma symbol. This sound occurs at the end of words like sing, ring, tongue, etc. Now the final group is the glottal. The glottis is the space between the vocal cords in the larynx. There is one sound that is produced without the active use of the tongue and other parts of the mouth. This is the h sound which occurs at the beginning of words like have and house. Now we have come to the third and the last criterion, that is the manner of articulation. So far we have concentrated on describing consonant sounds in terms of where they are articulated, but describing a sound based on the manner of articulation is also necessary if we want to be able to differentiate certain sounds that we have placed in the same category. For example, the sound t and s are both voiceless alveolar sounds, but how do they differ? They differ in the way they are pronounced. That is, the t sound is one of a set of sound called the plosives, and the s sound is one of a set of sound called the fricatives. The first group of sound based on the manner of articulation is the plosives, also known as stops. There are 6 plosives in the English language. The set of sounds p, b, t, d, k, and g are all produced by some form of stopping the A stream very briefly, then letting it go abruptly. This type of consonant sound resulting from a blocking or stopping effect on the A stream is called a plosive or a stop. So the full description of the t sound at the beginning of a word like 10 is described as a voiceless alveolar plosive. The next set of sounds constitute the consonants like v, d, s, z, sh, and sh. The manner of articulation of these consonants involve almost blocking the air stream and having the air pushed out through a very narrow opening. As the air is pushed through, a type of friction is produced and the resulting sounds are known as fricatives. Now the next group is the affricates. They are formed as a plosive consonants but with slower separation of the articulating organs, so that the corresponding fricative is audible as the separation takes place. So if we combine a brief stopping of the air stream with an obstructed release which causes some friction, we will be able to produce the 2 affricates in English. They are the ch and the j. The next group are the nasals. Most sounds are produced orally with the velum raised. preventing the airflow from entering the nasal cavity. However, when the velum is lowered and the airstream is allowed to flow out of the nose to produce the and ng sound. The sounds are described as nasals. The three sounds are all voiced. The words like morning, knitting, and name begin and end with nasal sounds. Lateral consonants is the next group. They are formed by placing an obstacle in the center of the air channel but leaving a free passage for the air on both or one side of the obstacle. The L sound is called a lateral liquid and is formed by letting the airstream flow around the sides of the tongue as the tip of the tongue touches or makes contact with the middle of the alveolar ridge. Now the next group is the glides. The sound W and Y are described as glides. They are both voiced and occur at the beginning of words like we, wet, yes, and yet. These sounds are typically produced with the tongue in motion or gliding to or from the position of a vowel and are sometimes known as semivowels or approximants. Lastly, the frictionless constituents are made with the organic position of a fricative consonant but pronounced with a weak breath force so that no friction is heard. For example, the principal R sound. Now, to sum up this lecture, we will now try to describe the articulation of each one of the 24 consonants of English. The first consonant is the P, as in push. It is described as a voiceless bilabial plosive consonant. The second consonant is the B, as in bed. It is described as a voiced bilabial plosive consonant. The third consonant is the T, as in ten. It is described as a voiceless alveolar plosive consonant. The fourth consonant is the D sound, as in dog. It is described as a voiced alveolar plosive consonant. The fifth one is the K, as in cat. It is described as a voiceless velar plosive consonant. The sixth consonant is the G, as in gun. It is described as a voiced velar plosive consonant. Now the seventh consonant is the Ch, as in church. It is described as a voiceless palato-alveolar affricate consonant. The eighth consonant is the J sound, as in judge. It is described as a voiced palato-alveolar affricate consonant. The ninth consonant is the sound, as in fish. It is described as a voiceless labiodental fricative consonant. The 10th consonant is the V, as in ven. It is described as a voiced labiodental fricative consonant. The 11th is the Th, as in three. It is described as a voiceless dental fricative consonant. The 12th is D, as in dus. It is described as a voiced dental fricative consonant. The 13th consonant is the S sound, as in C. It is described as a voiceless alveolar fricative consonant. The 14th consonant is the Z sound, as in zoo. It is described as a voiced alveolar fricative consonant. The 15th consonant is the Sh sound, as in shoe. It is described as a voiceless palato-alveolar fricative consonant. It is described as a voiceless palato-alveolar fricative consonant. The 17th is the sound, as in mouse. It is described as a voiced bilabial nasal consonant. The 18th is the sound, as in nose. It is described as a voiced alveolar nasal consonant. The 19th consonant is the sound, as in sing. It is described as a voiced velar nasal sound. The 20th consonant is the H sound, as in house. It is described as a voiceless glottal fricative consonant. The 21st consonant is the L sound, as in learn. It is described as a voiced alveolar lateral consonant. The 22nd consonant is the R, as in red. It is described as a voiced alveolar frictionless constituent consonant. The 23rd consonant is the semivowel W, as in wet. It is described as a voiced labiovelar semivowel or glides. Now the last consonant is the Y, as in yes. It is described as a voiced palatal semivowel or glides. So dear students, this is what we have learned today in this lecture. I hope you have gained some extra knowledge. And if you have any difficulty or doubt, please feel free to visit the college website or the information given in this program. Thank you.